with Bill Hannon or something, too, so, yeah. Okay, we ready?
Yep.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I must admit that sounds so much better in person than on Zoom. It's always hard to coordinate when everybody's in different places, but I like the way that sounds when we're all together. So, welcome back, everybody. This is the Porter County Board of Commissioners. It's Tuesday, June 9th. It's a little after 10 o'clock. We're going to get through our first in-person meeting since COVID. We're going to move right to the consent agenda, and I'll turn it over to Melanie to read the consent agenda.
Approval of payroll, May 29th, 2020. Approval of claims, May 28th, 2020, and June 4th, 2020. Approval of minutes, May 5th and May 19th, 2020.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second on consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Commissioner Blaney, why don't you give us the Memorial Opera House?
Pretty short one today. MTI production contract, Disney's The Little Mermaid in 2021.
Little Mermaid.
That ought to be exciting.
Okay. Throw it to the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second for MTI Productions contract. This is for Disney's The Little Mermaid in 2021. We're starting marketing as of right now. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll get right into the commissioners' meeting. I don't have any announcements that we're missing here, other than we're back in business. First up, we have a joint resolution of the Porter County Board of Commissioners and the Porter County Council concerning the COVID-19. I know the council has already passed this, and now it's up to us. Just to give, it's a pretty lengthy resolution, but do you want to give the bullet points, Scott, real quick?
Yes, so this would institute a hiring freeze. This would also institute a countywide overtime and comp time ban. There's also clear language that additional appropriations from the county general fund would be greatly discouraged and require some additional approval to even get on the agenda at this point in time. And then also to allow the auditor to do some interfund borrowing to alleviate any cash flow issues that we may have or the need to borrow and incur any expenses to not have individual funds be running into the red given some of the delay in the dates getting pushed back. I did see the email yesterday from the auditor explaining the distribution of the first tax draw and probably some pretty good indication of how we did on this first go-around on property taxes in the middle of all that we were going through. So, but this allows that interfund borrowing, the hiring freeze, overtime and comp time, but it also goes through and tells the different department heads who they would be getting the permission from. And in a nutshell, the elected officials' offices are going to the council for the approval to be able to hire and fill those positions that become open during this period of time. And then also they would be going to the council for the overtime needs and their comp time needs. The departments that are coming that are basically in charge of by the commissioner's office are being able to then go through the commissioner's office to approve their need on an individual basis for the comp time or the overtime or to fill open spots. So this is obviously in relation to the county's finances and boards bracing for what may or may not come of the effects on our revenues from the COVID. So,
thank you, Scott. Any other questions from the board? Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a joint resolution between the Porter County Board of Commissioners and the Porter County Council concerning COVID-19. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I want to digress just a second. I know Madam Auditor sent us an email yesterday about how the tax collections and everything were going.
Yes.
And it even, you know, I know we were concerned and still are, but you want to just give a real brief synopsis on how we did. I don't mean to put you, if I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, no.
Okay, because I know you know your numbers, so that's why I didn't mind asking. But I think it's information that I think people need to know.
Mhm.
And so if you would sort of give us a quick update, Vicki, thank you.
Okay, so last week we completed our spring tax settlement, and even though the tax bills can still be paid through July 10th without penalty, counties are still required to disperse all the money that was collected by May 11th to the various taxing units. Some taxing units fared better than others, and it's probably because of the number of taxpayers or the volume of taxpayers that took advantage of the 60-day penalty waiver period. So overall, though, countywide, our collections were about 90% of what we received in spring of last year. So that's better than what some people may have anticipated. The flip side is we were actually anticipating higher than last year because our budget increased.
Right.
So we are going to have some cash flow issues in some of our funds. Our county general fund, the disbursement was about $1.3 million less than we received last spring. But keep in mind, there's tax payments coming in through July 10th, and we anticipate recouping what we should have received. So our office is going to run another mini settlement in July or August, so we're going to be sending out the tax payments that came in during the 60-day waiver period to all of the taxing units. And I know some of them will definitely need that disbursement.
Thank you, Madam Auditor. I know for myself, I was sort of surprised when I got that email. I know we're still a little off what we need to collect, but that was a very positive sign that I think the people in Porter County just treated it as business as usual, and that's good, because I know we've had a lot of other discussions on the what-ifs that could happen, but I just wanted to share that information with everyone today, so thank you, Vicki. Next up, we have a resolution for the exchange of property with Portage Township, and this has a lot to do with the building that we built, the new building that we built up on the Portage campus, where we have a lot of work going on up there and nearing completion. Why don't we let our attorney sort of give the details on what we did to sort of right the ship and make it fair for the county and make it fair for Portage Township.
So, the county-owned property on 700 at 326 West 700 North, it's a small parcel that over the years has been many things, including a police substation. The trustee's office owned it at one point, we're utilizing it maybe for a very small place for people to stay that were in need. It came back to the county, and what we eventually did was turn it into the project through the redevelopment commission to put the substation highway garage there. In doing that project, it became clear early on that we needed additional property around that parcel that the trustee owned. There was also some substantial drainage areas next to this property that we wanted to be able to develop a little bit more in tune with the building, and then also in context of what's happening overall with the drainage in South Haven. So we needed additional property around the 700. The trustee's office had worked with us to develop their food pantry and the trustee's office at the North County government complex. So in order to make all of this correct and to be able to move forward, the county will be exchanging the footprint of the building, which amounts to about 49% of the new additional outbuilding at Porter County North, which is either the trustee's office or the food pantry. The trustee's office will own both. We will exchange that footprint for the additional property that the trustee's office is exchanging us that surrounds our parcel on 700 North to allow us to have parcel large enough to build the substation with the outdoor, with some outdoor storage or yard for all the drainage work in South Haven. So, I know that's all very boring, but Indiana Code 36-111-8 allows the two governmental entities to exchange property by adopting substantially similar resolutions. I would say that I appreciate the fact that our surveyor did all of the legal description for both the additional parcel of property around 700. He also did the legal description for the footprint of the building, which frankly was not very easy to do in the middle of our large parcel.
Yep.
Finding those spots and getting those dialed into where they needed to be was quite an adventure, and I appreciate the fact that our surveyor's office did accomplish that for both legal descriptions. So this has been reviewed by the trustee office, it's been reviewed by their attorney, and everything's been revised. I believe we're ready for our board to approve it. This will be the same resolution that the Township Trustee Board or trustee himself would approve, because it's substantially similar resolutions. We just decided to do it in one joint resolution.
Right.
And that's why the exhibits are attached with the actual legal description called out of what we're exchanging.
And I think it's smart to exchange instead of pay. I mean, after all, Portage Township taxpayers are county taxpayers, so it's good that they didn't have to pay themselves to get this property.
And it's good that we didn't have to pay for the property on 700.
Exactly.
So, and it also clears up some issues down the road with insurance and things like that that we'll be dealing with on the outbuilding.
Makes
So,
it cleaner down the road for everybody to do their own thing. And plus, the other thing is the Portage Township and South Haven area gets a brand-new highway stormwater substation garage, which is desperately needed out in that area because of the density and all the work that goes on out there. So it's all good. So we have the resolution in front of us to take action on, and I'll open the floor to the board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a resolution of exchange for the property for Portage Township and Porter County Government, the Board of Commissioners. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next up, we have Eric Gibson from GIS. This is a letter of agreement to pay remaining cost-plus claims. And Scott, fill us in on that.
So we have, unfortunately, still some trailing claims from when we were part of a cost-plus health insurance plan. This was a few more of those costs that had not been negotiated and paid that bubbled up to the surface. GIS, Mr. Gibson and their team went through these claims. The letter of agreement that's attached in our meeting materials is actually the agreement that was in place that was basically governing the relationship with this particular claim with Porter Hospital at the time. So after GIS went through it and their team, and they discussed it with Porter Hospital on the claim itself, it seems that after all of that diligence, this is a claim, these claims need to be paid, and because we were doing the cost plus at the time, and we're not doing that now, when these do bubble up, we approve them at this level. And Eric, I don't happen to have them, do you know what the cost was off the top?
21,000 change,
Yeah. So in the low 20,000 was and that was after, again, making sure that the letter of agreement that we had in place with Porter Hospital at the time was honored as far as the percentages go. So it has gone through its due diligence, and it is at this point teed up to allow the commissioners to take action.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a letter of agreement to pay remaining cost-plus claims on the county's insurance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Parks, we have a memorandum of understanding. Scott, why don't you fill us in on that?
So the Parks Department and our Highway Department have been attempting to do some joint work between the departments, and it looks like we were able to put together a project that coincided both for the Park Department and for our Highway. Our Highway Department is going to be in the vicinity of Sunset Hill Park. Sunset Hill Park needs about 1,000 feet of roadway surface crack seal project done. The highway is going to be in that area, and when they're in that area, they would do this work for the Parks Department. The Parks Department would then reimburse for all the expenses. So I think it was a good job coordinating between the departments, and then it also allows the Parks Department to be able to utilize and get this done for a little bit more inexpensive, and also is good for our highway department as they're already in the area. We're not making a special trip, my understanding, out there to do this. So when we're in the area, we can get over there and do this, and then the Parks Department will reimburse for all the costs. So, and the Park Board will approve the same.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a memorandum of understanding between the Porter County Highway Department and the Parks Department. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to get into, we're getting, after almost 2 years of pay apps, we're getting to the end, and that's good. On Franklin Street, the first one here we're going to take, can we do 1 through 4 the same, because they're all credits?
Yes.
So number 1 through 4 on the agenda, we have State Line Fire Systems. It's a change order number 1. It's a credit amount of $3,650. That's a credit that's coming back. Midwest Tiles Interior change order number 2. We also have a credit coming back in the amount of $4,652 for unused contingency allowance. Circle R Mechanical change order number 3 and a credit in the amount of $5,889 for unused contingency. And Stan's Painting and Decorating for $2,458 for unused contingency as well, too. So we're going to, there's 4 actual change orders here. We'll vote on them all at the same time, and I'll throw it to the floor.
Motion to approve change orders 1 through 4, all credits.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Then number 5 on 157 Franklin Street, we have a change order in the amount of $17,474. That's an add to provide steel lintels and basement for conduits, new glass with walk-through for third floor lobby, miscellaneous masonry work, window film, drywall repairs, stainless steel corner guards around elevators, and just a lot of the loose ends here at the end of that project. So that would go to Pangier for change order number 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for change order number 4 for Pangier Corporation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Now we're going to switch to the North County Annex, which is very close to wrapping up over the next 5 to 6 weeks. Should be wrapped up there. We're going to vote on all 9 of these pay apps because they're all pay apps. We're going to vote on them as one. As noted on the agenda, 1 is Zilkowski Construction, 2 is Pangier Corp., 3 is Kleckner Interior, 4 is Zilkowski, 5 is Circle R Electric, 6 is Stan's Painting, 7 is Midwest Tile and Interiors, 8 is State Line Fire Systems, and 9 is Arctic Engineer. Those are all pay apps within their contract amount. I'll open it up to the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to motion to approve North County Annex pay apps 1 through 9.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for North County pay apps. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next up we have Cindy Dykes. She is the county coroner, and she has an ordinance here. She wants to establish a reimbursement grant for the Indiana State Department of Health Fatality Review and Prevention Division, SUID/SDY Case Register Grant number 61910, funded by the Center for Disease Control. So we have to create a fund or a grant?
A fund to put the grant in.
So is this 2 readings?
Yes.
So this will be first reading. We'll have to do a public hearing. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to pause the commissioners' meeting, open up a public hearing, and we're going to give 3 opportunities to speak in favor and 3 to speak against. So the first one, what we'll do is first call anybody wishing to come forward to speak against us creating this fund. Second call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak against creating this fund. Third and final call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak against this fund. First call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak in favor of this fund. Second call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak in favor of this fund. Third and final call, anybody wishing to come forward to speak in favor of this fund. The public hearing is now closed, and I'll throw it to the board for action.
Mr. Chairman, I motion to approve an ordinance establishing a reimbursement grant for the Indiana State Department of Health, Fatality Review and Prevention Division, SUID, SDI, Case Registry Grant 61910, funded by the Center for Disease Control.
Second.
And again, this is on first reading. Second reading will take place at the next commissioners' meeting. So we have a motion and a second creating this ordinance on first reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. See you back at the July meeting, Cindy. Thank you. Next up, Lance Bella. Lance is not here today, but this is the Porter County Shoreline Disaster Emergency Declaration and Travel Restriction. This is for the Porter County shoreline up in Lake Michigan. So we're just extending that for another 30 days, as we only have the ability to extend these type of emergencies for 30 days at a time.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the Porter County Shoreline Disaster Emergency Declaration and Travel Restriction. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, Don Welsen, IT Director.
Yep.
Morning, Don.
Morning.
So it looks like we got a FireEye Cybersecurity Services, the cybersecurity services agreement for Porter County government. The state will pay for the first 3 years. What's this, Don?
The Secretary of State decided that they wanted to protect all the election computers, so they went out to FireEye, got a 3-year contract with them to put their malware and antivirus agents on election computers.
Oh,
I think we're in good shape, but we're going to go ahead and put them on the election computers so we can comply with the state and see what happens.
I'm
and
curious.
another added insurance policy, huh?
Yeah.
Sort of.
I'm curious what is the cost of, I mean, since we're going to be incorporating this after 3 years, do you know what the cost is?
I don't know what the cost is. As of today, my recommendation is not to renew it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll pass that bridge when we get there, right, in
Right.
3 years. So
yeah.
who knows, there might have been some other technology or some other things that happened by then,
Yeah.
too. So,
Free is free, right?
yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the cybersecurity agreement with FireEye for Porter County government for the election equipment. The state of Indiana will pay for the first 3 years of this agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And what do you got next here, Don?
That's the final payments for Videotech for doing the cameras and access controls at the 157 Franklin. We'll be completely finished with that tomorrow morning. We have one card reader that's bad that they're going to come out and fix. And at that point, as far as IT is concerned, adult probation and 4D and prosecutors, they're all ready to go.
Good. Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for final payment to Videotech for the work in 157 Franklin Street in Valpo in the amount of $15,419 a penny. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion carries. Thanks, Don.
Yep.
Next up, we got Bob Thompson. Looks like we got some enterprise fleet management stuff to do. This is in regards to some cars that we're leasing, and we got some county cars to do something with here too, right, Bob?
It's mainly to take the three vehicles that we had that were commissioner vehicles that have over 50,000 miles and or close to 50,000 and give them to Enterprise to sell and then give us the credit back.
So we finally got to the stage where we have bought cars,
Right.
and now we're getting ready to cycle the first through
Yes.
through Enterprise
Right.
to get them sold. These are the documents, the agreement to sell, the consignment agreement that allows us to have our cars sold by Enterprise through their system.
Correct.
And this is our first foray into it, and obviously we're hoping that we have much better results than we do from our normal sheriff's sale.
And Enterprise is actually, they're actually buying our used vehicles.
No.
Now, are they just handling the sale of them?
They're handling the sale of them.
Okay. Motion to approve. It's a good program.
Can we do both?
Yes.
We can do both same time?
Yeah, I'd like to amend my motion, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to motion to approve the Enterprise Fleet Management Agreement to sell customers' vehicle and also the Enterprise Fleet Management Consignment Auction Agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Enterprise Fleet Management, customer vehicle sale and auction agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion carries. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Anybody wishing to address this board?
I'd just like to say one thing, Mr. Chairman, is that, I mean, as most of you know, I mean, this is my, roughly my 16th year in county office, not continuously, but, and I've never, fortunately, never experienced anything like we've experienced over the last 2 months with dealing with the pandemic crisis and all it had to offer everyone. And I'm just really proud of the way the employees, the department heads, and the elected officials managed all of that here in county government. We seriously did not hit a speed bump. It just seemed like everybody was on the same wavelength as far as what needed to be done and did what they were needed to do. And I just thought I'd bring it up. It was really unusual, and I thought it was really unusual how well it was managed, considering that none of us here signed up for that. So that was a first. That was a first for all of us. So.
Yeah, I just real quick, I know everybody needs to get back, but I would like to thank, like Jim said, all the county employees, but especially, Rhonda Young, Ray Cloyd, Kurt Ellis,
Chuck Miller.
Yeah, Chuck Miller and GIS who helped put the dashboard together. I mean, there were, I think if you walk through the building today, you can see what Buildings Facilities has been up to over the last several months, because the inside of the building looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things, plexiglass stations that they were doing. Everybody seemed to pivot. Everybody seemed to work together as a team, and I think, I know Kurt's the Mr. Zoom guy now, and he was, we were putting a lot of COVID updates out there. This all takes writing. This takes time. It takes thought. It takes, you want to have it right. And that's tough work to do under pressure, trying to get it out in time and then making sure that it's written in a way that everybody can understand it. There's just a lot of things that were going on during all this that we were able to see behind the scenes.
And we don't want to forget Lance Bella.
And Lance,
organized all those calls
Yep.
for us.
If I'm missing somebody, please chime in, but I just want to thank everybody. I think the reason we were able to handle this is because we have very good people in place in this county, and we have great elected officials and department heads who made this happen. So it wasn't us, but fortunately for us, we were in a position where we could see it all happening. And it was very, it was a fantastic feeling from our perspective when you're in charge of running things, to see people come together and do the right thing for everybody. So kudos to all you,
Yeah.
and kudos to the people of Porter County for hanging in there and trusting us and allowing us to do our thing that we did up here. And I think a lot of people were watching us, and I feel good about the end result. We still have some ways to go here yet to tie the knot, tie the bow, but I think we're well on our way. So, thank you. Laura, do you have anything to say? I know
It's been so much easier because we have all these great people. Nobody complained. We asked people to go above and beyond in a lot of cases, and we didn't get any pushback at all. Everybody played as a team, and that sure made it a lot easier, so thank you.
Yep. Became real crystal clear that when you have quality department heads, it's even when you're going through difficult times and decisions, everything's a lot better when you got quality people running all of your departments, and that became pretty clear to me, so I appreciate all the work.
And Ray, we're still praying for your family.
Yeah.
This board stands in recess.